scrutiny, and Mankind is taking a bit of a knock, is down 3%. Amit Gupta is with us now, Vice President and Fund Manager at ICICI Securities Portfolio Management Services. Amit, good to have you with us here. Thank you very much for your time. I just want to start with one area which I think is starting to get talked about, at least. I think we've discussed this in the past, about a month and a half back when you were on the program, power utilities. And whether, over the next couple of months, these stocks will make one money. We had S. Narain of the asset management side, ICICI AMC, with us, who was highlighting that as a opportunity area, Amit. Do you like it? Do you own it? And which ones in particular?
So I think definitely, because if you look at on the domestic front now, there are many sectors which are emerging, and power is one of those, because the peak power demand is continuously rising in India. We have seen few years back it was 200 gigawatt, but now it is somewhere close to 231 gigawatt. And if you look at the installed capacity, it is around 420, but we have almost, in the renewable around 180, 190 gigawatt. But still the thermal and the hydro is somewhere around, 240 or 238 gigawatts. So in that case, what we are seeing, the companies like NTPC or NHPC, now they are, moving into the renewables also. And that is where the re-rating has started. But on the top of it, I think the major problem was the SEBs, the state electricity boards, which were in heavy losses actually so far. But whatever complaints in the power we have seen by the government so far, whatever theft was happening in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, and then, the SEBs, they were not able to purchase power also from the power generation companies. We have seen that their losses have reduced by 45%. I think this is going to be a big trigger going forward. And this is where the power generation or the finance companies also, like Power Finance Corporation, so they have also started participating. So we have taken NHPC also in our portfolio, because I think this company is also going for another, capacity addition now. And this is where I think the re-rating is there on the cards. You look at NTPC, which is already there with 70 gigawatt of thermal capacity. It is adding another 60 gigawatt now in renewables by another 7-8 years now going forward. So this is where I think the focus is going to be. And then the next is they may be selling some of the stakes in the renewable part also. And this is where the new valuations will come up. So from these levels, I think a lot of upside is possible now in these areas.
Amit, any thoughts on these defense/shipbuilding companies? Names like a Mazgaon Docks. Recently, HDFC has launched a new NFO to cater to the defense stocks. But look at the kind of up move we've seen in names like Mazgaon. Today it's up, 15-16%. Over the last couple of days, it's seen buying. And if you pull up a one-year chart of Mazgaon Docks, you would see that there was a similar euphoria which took place 7-8 months back. The stocks rallied to levels of 900, 950. Then it had a sharp correction of about 33%. And once again, these stocks have seen buying. That's the 6-month, one-year chart of Mazgaon Docks. What's led to this recent round of euphoria in these companies?
So see, the defense, as you rightly said, there is more money flow actually, which is likely to move into the defense area from the various fraternity actually now. So we talk about some kind of valuations reaching to a certain level, but then we see that, some kind of money flow from various institutions, can come in actually in these segments. Because obviously out of the 10 lakh crore of government capex, a major part is going here also in the defense. And this is where I think one area is you look at these type of companies, or another thing is you can look at some other private companies also. For example, BharatForge. So this particular company, we have already seen, some kind of decline after the results. But we are very positive in this particular stock, because along with the auto ancillary theme, because auto is also bottoming out, and because the interest rates are topping out, we believe that this defense story in this particular stock is also evolving. So this can also be a good candidate where from the valuation perspective now we have some comforts. And I think again, those kind of high levels of, 900 where it was actually before, I think those will be taken out. So this is where I think some selective bets needs to be taken, because some of the PSUs have already run up in the defense space. And I think some kind of blending stories like BharatForge can do better if suppose some kind of correction comes going ahead in the defense area.
Okay. Amit, hi, good afternoon. You were speaking about auto, and I was just thinking that auto really has been the dark horse of 2023, right? This was a year when we were saying maybe, poor rural demand, uncertain monsoon, high cost of ownership. None of that prevented sales from moving higher. And look at auto stocks. I mean, 40% up on Tata Motors this year in 2023. Bajaj is up 30%. Maruti is up 15%. So my question is that given this rally, do you still see further headroom for auto stocks? Which ones would you still be comfortable buying? I mean, TVS is up 70% in the last 1 year. So I guess from an investor's point of view, the question is, can the going continue to be as smooth?
So I think auto has remained subdued for quite a while, and now we are clearly seeing a money flow there. And in fact, last year, passenger vehicles, we had the record registrations. So almost 39 lakh registrations happened. Generally, we used to see 31, 32 lakh registrations actually. And now you have seen the two-wheeler numbers also coming good recently. And that is where this was the only segment which was lagging. Now, if you look at tractor as another space, which was performing before, but now we believe there may be lesser rainfall possibly going forward. There is a question mark. And then the higher base impact. But still, I mean, I was visiting some of the companies recently, the tractor companies in India. And what I noticed that it is not only the farmers which are using tractors now, even some of the industries for loading their products, they are using tractors if it is not too far of a distance, because tractors prices are, much lower, 4.5, 5 lakh when you compare with trucks, which is available around 35 lakh rupees. So this is where, in the automobile, in various spaces, you have different kind of triggers now coming up. So you generally look at OEMs. I think the time is coming when the auto ancillary also we need to start looking at now. And we have already seen some run up. For example, look at Apollo Tires. So this is one company, which is getting 70% from domestic and 30% from the European markets. And we saw when the energy prices were shooting up actually in the Europe, because it operates from Hungary, and Hungary has a special pact with Russia. So the energy prices were not too high in that reason, and these companies really minted money and they increased the market share actually. So Apollo Tire also increased by 270 bips actually in that period, and it gets 31% market share actually in the commercial vehicle, which is the next big thing because of infra spending and all. I think after the new government gets elected, again that particular theme will pick up more and more. And this is where I think these kind of companies are coming up now. And the crude also has remained lower, which is acting as positive for the margin expansion perspective actually for these companies.
Okay, now Apollo Tires, point taken there. Bharti, Amit, I remember you saying you like the name, and what are your thoughts latest?
So my thought is telecom stocks now are going to start very soon, because we have already seen 5G expansion in India, and this was one of the sharpest expansion we have seen, even if you compare with the developed markets. And next is the 5G applications which are going to be used. We have to see that, and that will add on another thing actually in the revenue. But so far it is ARPUs which is the trigger, and you are clearly seeing that they have not increased the tariff rates, but rather they have lowered the prepaid cards of 99 rupees, and last one is 155. So automatic growth of 50% around is seen actually in the tariff rates, which is close to 193 for Bharti, and that may be the trigger for Reliance also, but that's a blended one. So Bharti may be the first one actually which will have a sharper move, I think, going forward. And not only in the case of Bharti Airtel, I think some kind of ancillary companies, for example, Tata Communication, I think that is another one which has consolidated for a very long period. And we saw that the top management of TCS, Mr. Lakshmi, actually he left the company. He was heading the telecommunication division, and then he moved to Tatacom. And we have seen there are clear mandates, to get the productivity the productivity to improve in the company, and to take the ROAS above 30%, which is already at 24%. I think this company is looking much better, and the 59% holding is there of the Tata, which is thus next to TCS. And I think this is where in the component-wise telecom also, you are going to see a growth. And this also caters to the outside world. We have to see that, and because of that, it has already consolidated for a very long period, I think now. And I think the time is coming for the performance. So we are very gung-ho actually on the telecom now from here onwards.
Bullish on telecom. Amit, thank you very much for joining in. Need to get into a very short break. On the other side, we'll get you a check on what dealing rooms are saying in our favorite segment, D Street Chatter. We'll also get you a few calls, trading calls, BTST calls from our experts.